Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through a GCSE worksheet targeted at those students that are aiming for a grade 6 to 9 in GCSE maths. The first question tells us to expand and simplify. So the brackets we have on this question are x plus 3 and x minus 5. So if you multiply the first terms, we would get x squared. Outside terms gives us minus 5x. Inside terms gives us plus 3x. And outside terms gives us minus 15. Minus 5x and plus 3x are both coefficients of x. They're like terms, so we can just add them together to simplify it. And that would give us x squared minus 2x minus 15. So we fully expanded and simplified these two brackets. Question 2 tells us to solve for x. The equation 2x plus 7 equals 5x minus 8. So if we want to solve for x, ideally we'd get x on its own and a numerical value for it. So in order to do that, let's try to get all the x's on one side and all the numbers on one side. So if we take away 2x from both sides, we'd get 7 is equal to 3x minus 8. We want all the numbers on one side, so let's add 8 to both sides. And we'd get 15 is equal to 3x. We can just divide both sides by 3 to give us x equals 15 over 3, which is just x equals 5. So we've solved for x. Question 3 tells us to calculate the volume of a cylinder with radius 3 centimeters and height 10 centimeters. So for the volume of a cylinder, we can use the equation volume is equal to pi r squared times h. So the volume of this will be pi and our radius is 3, so 3 squared multiplied by 10. So we get v is equal to pi times 3 squared, which is 9, times 10. V is equal to 90 pi. If we put this into our calculator, we'd get 90 pi is equal to 282.7433 and then more threes, but we can just round this to volume is equal to 282.7 centimeters cubed, and that is how you find the volume of a cylinder. Question 4 tells us to write 0.0085 in standard form. So for this, we need to remember which numbers we can actually use in standard form. We know that the first number needs to be between 1 and 9.9. Anything below 1, we could just change the power, and same with above 9.9. So let's try and make this number have a number between 1 and 9.9 at the start. So 0.0085. We'd have to move the decimal place across. So once, twice, 3 times. So then we'd write 8.5, which is if you move the decimal place across 3 places, and this is between 1 and 9.9, times 10 to the minus 3. The reason it's not just 3 is because it's we're moving the decimal place to the right. We're making the number bigger by moving the decimal place, so the power has to reflect this. If we were moving the decimal place to the left, then the power would not be negative, it would be a positive number. Question 5 tells us to completely factorize 2x squared minus 8x. So what this means is we want to take out everything that's common to both terms, 2x squared and 8x. So first we can see that both of these numbers are divisible by 2. So let's start off by taking out a factor of 2. So we'll have 2, then in brackets we'd have x squared minus 4x. So we've taken out a factor of 2 from each term. But if we look at x squared minus 4x, they both still have an x term that we can divide both terms by. So we can take this out of the bracket as well. We can now have 2x, and then in brackets x, because x squared divided by x is just x, and now minus 4, because minus 4x divided by x is just minus 4. So now x minus 4, there's no more common terms that we can take out of both numbers. So 2x and x minus 4 is the completely factorized version of this equation. Question 6 tells us to find the median of this data set. So let's start off by arranging this from smallest to largest, so it's easier for us to see which term is in the middle, which is how we find the median. So the smallest number is 8, then 11, then 12, then 14, then 15, 16, and then 17. So if you count up the terms as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms in this set of data. So to find the middle term, it would be, you can see 14 is clearly the middle term. There's 3 terms on either side. It must be the middle term. So our median for this set of data is 14. Question 7 tells us to convert 3.5 kilometers into meters. So let's first off get this into meters by seeing that K here, which stands for kilo, just means 1,000. So we have 3.5 times 1,000 meters. If we put this in our calculator, we just get 3,500. So we've got 3,500 meters, and that's the question done. Question 8 is a probability question. It tells us to find the probability of picking a green counter out of a bag that has 5 red counters, 3 green counters, and 2 blue counters. So we need to look at the chances of someone picking out a green. So at the top we'd have 3 because there are 3 green counters in the bag. And on the denominator, we'd have the total number of counters in the bag, which is 5 plus 3, which gives us 8, plus 2 gives us 10. So the probability of picking out a green counter is 3 over 10. So we can say 3 over 10 equals probability of green. And that is how you complete this question. Question 9 tells us to rearrange the formula to make x the subject. The formula is y equals 3x plus 4. In order to make x the subject, we want x on its own. So we can start off by subtracting 4 from both sides to give us y minus 4 is equal to 3x. We're nearly there. We've not fully completed the question. We have 3x, but we just want x. So if we divide both sides by 3, we'd get y minus 4 over 3 is equal to x. So we've now rearranged the formula to make x the subject. Question 10 tells us a triangle has sides 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters, and asks us to determine whether this is a right angle triangle or not. The way I'll determine it is by checking whether Pythagoras' theorem applies to it or not. So the sum of the squares of the two smaller sides should equal the square of the hypotenuse. So it's written out as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And the longest side here is 9 centimeters. So this will be our hypotenuse. This will be c. We can put 5 and 7 as either way, a or b. It doesn't really affect the question. So let's check this. A squared, a is 5. So we'll say 5 squared plus b, which is 7 squared, should equal c, which is 9 squared. So let's work it out and see whether this is true or not. 5 squared is 25, 7 squared is 49. This should equal 81 if this is a right angle triangle or not. But if you add these numbers up, we see that 25 plus 49 is just 74, which is not equal to 81. Therefore, we can say that the triangle is not a right angled triangle. And that is how we complete our last question. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it useful. Leave a comment letting us know what type of videos you want us to make next.